We are already well acquainted with the Pill Tower, the holy land of all alchemists across the entire continent. Its reputation is extremely terrifying. It is unlikely that there exists even a single faction on the whole Douqi continent that would dare to offend them. Although the Pill Tower may outwardly not seem overly developed, it has several members who form its elite core. And this is far beyond the three leaders that we already know, namely, Leader Shen Kongzi, Shen Yi, and Tian Lei Zi. They were at the peak of 9-star honored warrior. By that time, however, Shen Kongzi had already broken through to the level of half-saint Ban Sheng. Yet even this power was barely enough to intimidate the Soul Hall or other mighty factions. After all, the first Tianzuan of the Soul Hall and its leader were already at the class of Saint Do Sheng. So, what is the reason behind the Pill Tower's untouchable status? The thing is, this is only their external power. If they possessed only this small amount of strength, how could the Pill Tower become the holy land for all alchemists? How could they stand on equal footing with the Soul Hall? Yao Lao, of course, understood the true strength of the Pill Tower much better and shared this information with Xiao Yan. An ordinary person only knows about the Pill Tower headed by the three leaders famous to all. But very few know about the smaller Pill Tower inside the Pill Tower. It is called the Little Pill Tower. And this is where the true power, the true elite core of the Pill Tower, is hidden. Xiao Yan was naturally quite surprised. It was the first time he had ever heard of this so-called Little Pill Tower. The reason is that not many people can enter this Little Pill Tower. In the past, Xiao Yan could hardly meet the requirements. This is because the first requirement to enter the Little Pill Tower is the ability to refine an 8th-rank pill capable of summoning 7-colored lightning. At the same time, one's soul must have reached the spiritual state. 7-colored pill lightning, a soul at the spiritual state. These requirements are indeed very harsh, Xiao Yan shook his head. Before he had broken through to the saint level, it had been extremely difficult for him to refine an 8th-rank pill capable of summoning 7-colored lightning. Therefore, in the past, he did not possess the qualification to enter the Little Pill Tower. The people inside the Little Pill Tower were the true core of the Pill Tower. Their existence was the reason why the Soul Hall had never dared to cause any harm to the Pill Tower. These monsters were all extremely old individuals. Even Yao Lao himself had to bow and greet some of them upon meeting. In the past, Yao Lao had spent some time inside the Little Pill Tower, but he could not adapt to the atmosphere there, and so he eventually left. The Little Pill Tower did not impose excessively strict rules. It was easy to leave it, but difficult to enter. So then, who exactly were the members of this mysterious Little Pill Tower? What kind of power did these alchemists possess? The Great Council of Elders, consisting of 7 people, could be considered the highest ruling body of the Little Pill Tower. Each one of them held incredibly high status. Moreover, all of them were selected by the Little Pill Tower, which meant their achievements were fully recognized. Therefore, all alchemists respected them. Xiao Yan looked over the 7 elders. Sweeping his gaze across them, he stopped on a particular 4. Among the 7 alchemists, their auras felt especially powerful, particularly that of the indifferent elder at the very center. He forced Xiao Yan to avert his eyes. 2 mid-level half-saints Ban Sheng, 1 high-level half-saint Ban Sheng, and 1 2-star saint at the initial level. This was the true strength of the Pill Tower. No wonder they could compare with the Soul Hall. Just imagine what kind of power was truly hidden within the Pill Tower. Even among just the elders of the Little Pill Tower, there were 3 half-saints and 1 2-star saint. And this was without even mentioning the true leader or the ancestor of the tower. When Xiao Yan first saw the elders of the Little Pill Tower, his attention was drawn to the first elder, whose name was Lin Mo. This elder in plain linen clothes, aside from the founder, was considered the oldest person in the Little Pill Tower. Even Yao was forced to treat him as a member of the younger generation. Xiao Yan silently listened. If even Yao Lao treated him as a junior, then his age was truly astonishing. That old man seemed to notice Xiao Yan's gaze. The young man immediately felt an immense spiritual pressure. And what about the founder of the Pill Tower himself? Who was the strongest existence in the tower? He is called the ancestor of the Pill Tower, and in essence, he was a 9th-rank pill, as well as a 9th-level alchemist. He was described as a man of short stature. He wore simple coarse clothes. His eyes were clear, and his face bore a gentle expression. Judging by his appearance, he looked like a boy of about 10 years old. As we know, 9th rank pills are extremely unique, possessing their own consciousness. How did he appear? That elder had been one of the founders of the Pill Tower, but he had already passed away. A year before his death, he exhausted all of his strength to refine a healing pill. By the time the pill was completed, this ancestor was already drained and quietly passed away. However, a fragment of his spirit strangely merged into the 9th rank healing pill, causing it to undergo a transformation. Subsequently, this healing pill transformed into a human, who remained in the Pill Tower as its guardian. From a certain perspective, this ancestor could be considered a unique avatar of that elder, though controlling such an avatar was extremely difficult. Over time, the ancestor repeatedly saved the Pill Tower from destruction. In the end, no one in the tower could compare to him in status, yet he himself was never particularly interested in such things. After the Pill Tower stabilized, he disappeared without a trace. No one could find him. It is truly fascinating. So the 9th rank pill itself is the ancestor of the Pill Tower. His strength corresponded to the level of a 6-star Saint Do Sheng. With such power, one could indeed make everyone respect the Pill Tower. From the moment of his birth, the ancestor took the position of guardian of the tower. His strength had reached the level of 6-star Do Sheng, while his essence was equivalent to the peak of a mysterious 9th rank pill. Moreover, he had the potential to evolve into an even higher level, the 9th rank golden pill. He was the strongest being in the tower and had saved it countless times during mortal crises. Once the tower's situation stabilized, he left and vanished without a trace. Despite such formidable power, the ancestor had rather unusual interests, which often brought smiles to those around him. His favorite pastime was playing in the human world, freely experiencing the joys and sorrows, the life and death of mortals. He appeared and disappeared like a dragon, rarely showing himself even to the 3 main leaders of the tower, who had been fortunate enough to see him only once in their lifetimes. When will Xiao Yan meet him? We will cover this in future videos. Please leave more likes and write your comments. Thank you very much for watching, subscribe, and goodbye to everyone.